In the last video, we talked about how to get this into a paperback book. Now the question is, how do we get this into all of the ebook stores or platforms? And how can we make it so that it is $0 on Amazon Kindle, which is not easy because Amazon normally limits you to 99 cents as the lowest price. So how can we do this? Now there are two ways we are going to convert this to an ebook. The first way is simply to upload your DOCX file in Word to Amazon. So you go to your KDP account and you're going to create a new book. So we've already done the paperback, and then here I'm going to show you how I've set this one up, this ebook. Even though it says 99 cents, by the way, it actually is free, and we'll talk about how we did that in a second. So here you can see the details. This is all very similar to the paperback. And once again, it's important that you select I own the copyright, even though you are publishing this as a public domain work. And I explained that in the last video. You can choose some categories, some keywords, and then hit save and continue. That will take you to this next tab, which is the content. And here you upload your manuscript. All you have to do is select your Word doc. Amazon will automatically create an ebook from that. Now you can see that I did not do that. I actually uploaded an EPUB, and we'll talk about how to create that in a moment with some more fine granular control. You'll want to make sure you select no, do not apply digital rights management. Then you get your book cover uploaded, and just like in the paperback, you're going to launch the previewer and make sure everything looks good. I'm going to leave this stuff blank, none of the informative images, and then save and continue. Next, we have the ebook pricing page, all territories. You want to make sure you stay out of KDP select enrollment. That will only cause problems for you if you enroll in that, and you will not be able to aggregate your book to other platforms, and you will not be able to make it free. So make sure you stay out of that, because once you enter this, you'll be locked in for at least 90 days. Amazon.com, and then you're going to set this at the lowest price, which is 99 cents for Amazon, and then select all of the lowest prices here on down and publish your ebook. Once you've published that, you can go to draft2digital.com, sign up for a free account, and here you can see my dashboard, and you can see that I have several books here. This is an aggregator for ebooks. What that means is it posts your ebook to a lot of different platforms. Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, Everand, Kobo, etc. So if I click this one that I've already created, you can see that it's published. It's published at $0. And here are all the platforms that it has been published to. And I can click these links to see my book on each of these platforms. Now I can go to the details page, and this is where you would upload your manuscript. And this is also compatible with Word. You just upload a Word document and you're good to go. I can go to my layout page next. And here, if your document has been formatted correctly, it will automatically see the headings and create a whole linked table of contents, and then you can hit save and continue. And here is the preview page. So you can quickly check through this and see how it looks, test it out. And you can choose from different templates that they have built in that often can add a nice little touch to your book's layout, like drop caps and other things. Now, often you're going to run into some glitches when you upload a Word doc to Draft to Digital. And so what I have done is I have saved this file as a separate file just for Draft to Digital. You can see up the top here, this is for D2D. Now, when I first uploaded this Word document to Draft to Digital, I noticed some problems. So here are a few things that I had to tweak. First off, you can see that this is a little bit different from the original. I deleted the carriage return, so the divine name, all of this was on its own separate line here, but I deleted that so that it will free flow. because with an ebook, it's very different from typesetting something else, because everybody's ebook reader is going to look differently. They may be reading it on a phone screen in a big font. And so when you have specific carriage returns in different places, it will often look awkward depending on how the display settings are for each person's device. And there was a bunch of extra space before this text, so it was lower down here, and I deleted those extra spaces because I don't want those to show in the ebook. Now, the most important thing is to worry about these page breaks, these actual page breaks, not just divisions between pages, because KDP and Draft to Digital are only going to look for these page breaks to divide these different sections in the ebook. For example, I have this page break way too low here and all this extra space. I don't really need that. So I can just go like this and delete those extra spaces and make sure that this will just display as its own page, this dedication, and that's it. And then this has its table of contents, has its own breaks. Now, the thing here is in the document, the original document, I didn't have these decorations between the quotes. And I put these there because Draft to Digital was doing something weird. It kept, no matter how many carriage returns I put between these quotes, it still would delete all of them and scrunch all of these quotes up together as one quote. There was no space between them, and it looked really bad. So these kind of forced there to be a division between them. I've got a section break. That's what it looks for. Remember, just because this flows over to the next page doesn't matter at all. What matters is that the program in the conversion is going to make this work for every different device and reflow it. So that's an example of how you would set this up before you upload it to Amazon or Draft to Digital. Now I want to talk about for a second why I didn't upload an EPUB to Draft to Digital. Why just a DOCX? That's because Draft to Digital has to aggregate to so many different platforms. It has to maintain very high standards for the coding of the EPUB. Unfortunately, it's very, very picky, and I've never gotten it to accept my own conversion that I'm going to show you in a second here using Calibra. Now, there is an option, of course, to go to Fiverr.com, hire a freelancer, and have them format your ebook as an EPUB that will be appropriate for Draft to Digital and will be accepted. And sometimes you can find somebody who does excellent work like that for like $20. It just depends on how much of a perfectionist you want to be with this ebook. Now, if we want to create an EPUB of our own, how do we do that? Well, first, you're going to want to download Calibra. Calibra is free open software for ebook management. And so you can just search download Calibra. It's also available for Mac. And then install it, and you're going to have something like this. Then you're going to take your DOCX and simply drag it in here. So now I have this in here. Looks pretty bad. That's not the cover I want. That's not the name I want. So now I go to edit metadata. And now I can change this cover. So browse, I'll get my cover, and then I will change the name here. All right, so I changed all this stuff. I can change the date here. I can change the publisher. Let's just put my name for now. And there we go. We hit OK. Now you can see here that right now the only format I have is a DOCX. Now I want to convert it to an ebook. To do that, I just hit Convert Books. Now I'll select EPUB and I'll hit OK. And now I have two formats, the EPUB and the DOCX. I can click here to see those book files here. Now I can preview my EPUB by just clicking EPUB. And then I can use the arrow keys to scroll through it. Now right away, I notice a problem. The divine name is in black. So how can I fix that? Well, here's what we'll do. First, we'll go to Edit Book. And now here are the different sections of my book. I have the cover page. I have the title page. And here's where that problem is. I can look here at the HTML code and I can find where this is. And here is the divine name. And this is the problem that I have. So before we do that manually, let's go ahead and see if we can do some of the automated improvements that Calibra includes. Under Tools, I have all of these things. One of them is just beautify all files. Let's go ahead and run that. All right, and then we'll see what changed. So it looked like it cleaned up some of the HTML formatting, things like that. Now, in order to fix this, there's one of two ways we could go about it. We could tinker with the code, or we could just go back here and reformat it, similar to what I did with the custom draft to digital Word document. For now, I'm just going to fiddle with the HTML a little bit.
3 hours later.
So I tweaked it, and that's looking a little better. If you want to pause and see what I did here, you can. Now we can save it right here. And we can page through, double-clicking, seeing what we need to do. Now, once again here, I need to remove some of this space top. I don't need all of this extra space, so I can delete these. And then you'll see an update in the preview. Now, there are quite a lot of different things that you can do to clean up your file. Now, if you run into a problem, what I recommend is using an AI chat, and you can copy your code, paste it in there. You can take a screenshot. So take a screenshot of what you're using in Calibra, the whole page, paste in the code that's causing the problem, and then ask, how should I fix this? And it will coach you through. I realize as a non-programmer that this code that we have here is extremely unideal, but it does get the job done for the most part. And as I said before, KDP is very forgiving with EPUB formatting. So even though I'm not going to show you all the functionality of Calibra because I'm also not a power user of this program, an AI is really going to be very helpful as you navigate this and try to figure out different strategies for cleaning up your book. So after you've saved it, you can then close this part, and then you have that EPUB saved. You can go to this book file and you can use this to upload wherever you want or share or put directly onto your Kindle. Yes, Kindle does accept EPUB. That is now the standard that they use. They used to use their own proprietary standard called Mobi right here, but you need to just forget about that because things have changed and you could ignore the Mobi format for now. Now, are there other ways of making an ebook besides Calibra? Yes, and you can investigate those. They won't be free, or else they may be a little bit more confusing or frustrating. Amazon does provide its own ebook creator that is free, but I haven't found it to be as useful. But you may, and I think they're improving it all the time. So now let's go to the final step in draft to digital, and here is where you select which platforms you want to aggregate your book to. So you can see how I have selected these. Wherever free is not supported, I just ignore those ones, select all regions, and then select the free library services that are available, and then apply the changes and hit publish, and then you wait. You'll have to wait a couple days to see these things finally under the published heading. For a while, you will see publishing, a publishing heading where it's working on it, and then below the places where it has been completed. Now, once you have these top three, then you're good to go to the next step, which is the magic step of making your book completely free on Kindle. Let me show you how to do that. We're going to go to your KDP account. Then we're going to go to Help. We're going to go to Contact Us. We're going to go to Pricing. We're going to go to Pricing, Price Matching, Contact Us, Send an Email, and then this will give you some instructions on what to include in this email. I'm going to give you the exact email that I just used to publish my book as a free Kindle book. Here we go. So here's what I said. I would like to request a price match for ASIN. This is the ebook number. Make sure not to get the print book number. You can find this on your KDP dashboard. For all Kindle Store regions, please match the price of the book to 0. competitor links. Now, this is the key part. You're going to get these competitor links from here. So for instance, this is Barnes & Noble. I'll just click this, and then I have the competitor link right up here. I copy it, and then I paste it in here to show them these 3 major retailers are listing my book for free. Please match that. So once I have those 3 links included, I say thank you and send the message, and then you'll wait a few days and they will get back to you and say it's now free on Kindle. And then you can check it and it should look like this. Now let's suppose that somebody doesn't have access to some of these channels. They don't have a Kindle account, they don't have a Barnes & Noble account, or they just want the raw PDF or the raw EPUB or whatever. So this is why I would encourage you to get a landing page for your book. I've got a link to the paperback, a download of the PDF, an EPUB, the Word doc, and then if you have an audiobook or audio series that you've done, you could include those as well. Now, the way I have the PDF and EPUB linked here to keep things very simple and to minimize the amount of work that's required to keep them updated is I have them linked to my Microsoft OneDrive. You could do your Google Drive or whatever cloud drive you want and just update that every time that you make a change to your book. So every time I make a change to the PDF, for example, I just replace that PDF in OneDrive with the exact same name. And so this link carries over to that new file. Same with the EPUB. Now, why do I share the Word doc? This is super important. Because you are publishing this as public domain, you want to give people the original typesetting document that is editable, so that they can make their own derivative of it very easily. It is not easy to make derivatives or edit or reformat a PDF. But a Word doc, yes. But be careful to share the Word doc as view only. Don't give editing permissions in your share link to your Word doc because you don't want people to be able to edit your file. You want them to be able to copy your file and then make their own changes to their copy, not your copy. So I'll just give you an example. When somebody clicks this, it will load up like this, and then they can download their own copy of this and or save a copy to their OneDrive if they want. They don't have to have an account or anything. So just to show you what this is like, here is the shared dialog for this file. And so here we see, okay, copy link. We don't want this one. We want to change it to can view. And then you get this link that only allows people to view it, not to edit it. Now, besides having these options, I would encourage you to also have the entire text of your book on the page. So it's very simple. You just have all your text right here. Now, I'm going to show you how I put this text on the page. You can see how it got formatted so that there are end notes with links instead of footnotes. How did I make this something that I could copy and paste into a web page? Because obviously I can't just copy and paste from a Word doc into a web page. I'm going to show you how I did it. Programmers may laugh at this, but it works and it doesn't take too much time. First, you're going to go to Google Drive. You're going to upload your doc to Google Drive. You right-click it, open with Google Docs. Now, don't worry about this font being different at this point. You're going to go to File, Download, Web page. Open it, extract the files. Here are the extracted files. Here's your HTML document. Now the next step is going to be getting a program that can help you view the actual code of this. There's probably lots of different ways to do this, and you can leave some suggestions in the comments. One way that I like to do it is use this program that I already have called Notepad++. So I'm just going to open Notepad, and this program is free, by the way, and I'm going to drag this in here, and now I can see all this crazy chaotic code. All right, you're going to want to copy this. The reason I can't just double click this and open it up in a browser and then copy the text that I see displayed is it's not going to copy all of this code. So I'm going to copy all of this, Control A, Control C. And now I'm going to go to my web editor. I use WordPress. So I've logged in as administrator to this web page. I'm going to hit Edit with Elementor. I use Elementor, the free version, and here's my interface for editing this page. So in Elementor, I'm going to go to Add Element, and I'm going to add a text editor. That will give me this. I'm going to switch it from visual to code. And then here is where it will be empty in your case, and you can paste everything that you just copied from Notebook++. Then you switch back to visual. Even though it doesn't look that nice here, if you scroll down, what you're going to see on the page looks like this. And then here's how it looks in dark mode. Now, what's the advantage of doing this? Number one, it allows people to find your work very, very easily through a Google search, because all of your text gets put into Google, and it's going to be much easier for people to stumble across your book as they're searching for information. The second reason is just sheer convenience. Somebody can start reading right away and evaluate whether they want to go through the trouble of putting it on their device or not, or downloading a file. And number three, it just shows that you're willing to go above and beyond to another level of freely giving and making this so convenient for people to access. Now, if you think this method that I just showed you is laughable and you are a web developer or something and you want to share your own video on a better way to do this, I would welcome that wholeheartedly. Thank you for watching.